Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today I'm going to give you 7 fresh Middle Eastern fragrances that I think you should know about. So let's jump into it. All right, so the summertime is right around the corner. Things are starting to heat up, even up here in Canada. Things are getting a little bit warm. So I got a list of 7 fresh fragrances from Middle Eastern houses that I think you should know about. Links will be all down in the description if you decide you want to check any of these fragrances out, along with some coupon codes to save yourself $5 off a variety of different discounters. Decent variety of freshies here. We got some citrusy ones, we got some aromatic ones, we got some ones that are even on the bit of a blue side here. So something for everybody hopefully in this list. So let's quit screwing around and let's get into it. All right, kicking things off, going to the house of Lattafa with Lattafa's Latoffa Legacy. You can scoop this bad boy up for $27, $37 at various discounters. And this is just my new favorite freshie from the house of Lattafa. Really nice citrus, aromatic, fresh, spicy style of opening. Has a nice lime, grapefruit, and lavender. Really kind of zingy, tart, zesty style of lime that comes through. A little hint of that grapefruit. Nice, clean, aromatic lavender. And this beautiful minty spearmint that comes through. Adds this fresh, spicy, cooling style of nature to it. A little bit of green in the mid, so you get some juniper berries, some geranium, and a little punch of this spicy pepper that works its way through. Just giving it a little bit of kick, kind of elevating those aromatics just a little bit. And in the base, you get a nice kind of lemongrassy style of vetiver, some ambroxan that works its way through, a little bit of a musky style of dry down. But through and through, this is a very citrus, aromatic style of fragrance that comes through. Very energizing, very sporty style of fragrance. Just absolutely gorgeous scent profile and perfect for the high heat. Performance on this, about 5-6 hours of longevity, and it does push off fairly good for the first hour and a half before it does settle back in. If you're looking for a nice kind of lime forward, very zesty, citrusy, aromatic style of fragrance, you're definitely going to check this one out. That's Latoffa's Latoffa Legacy. All right, next up, going to the house of Ajmal, and it's Ajmal Shiro. You can scoop this sucker up for $23 at various discounters. This is a very unique aquatic style of fragrance. Very woody, very spicy, but still has that fresh, watery, citrus style of fragrance going on to it. And I just can't get enough of this one. Opens with a really nice bright citrus with those aquatic notes, a little bit of saltiness to it, a little bit of kind of that watery cucumber vibe going on. Little bit of soft florals, but you get these nose tickling spices that kind of work their way through right away. And it's very interesting contrast between that citrus, those spices, that aquatic note. Very, very nice style of fragrance. As you move a little bit towards the dry down, you get a little bit more woods coming through. So you get this nice light airy cedar that works its way through. Kind of like a spice infused driftwood sitting on the beach style of vibe going on to this one. The aquatics stick around. You get a little hint of that citrus, but it does kind of sit in the background as you get towards the dry down. But through and through, this is a nice spicy, woody, watery, aquatic style of fragrance. Very unique, and I just can't get enough of this. Great in the high heat. It's just an absolutely perfect beach, summer patio, casual style of summer fragrance. Performance on this is pretty good. I get 6-8 hours worth of longevity. I get some on my clothes and it's definitely lasting till the next day. So for an aquatic fragrance, this does fairly well, and it does push off fairly good for the first hour and a half, 2 hours. Great aquatic style of fragrance, not your typical style of aquatic fragrance, but for 23 bucks, I definitely think this is worth checking out. That's Ajmal Shiro. Moving on to the house of Maison Alhambra. We got Maison Alhambra's Kismet, Moscow. I can scoop this bad boy up for $23 at discounters. And this is a very unique style of fragrance. It is a clone of by Kilian's Vodka on the Rocks. And the more I wear this one, the more I absolutely love this one. It's such a fresh, bright, sharp style of fragrance, perfect for the summer. Opens with these nice soapy aldehydes along with some coriander and some cardamom. Nice little touch of green that comes through in the mid, this nice crisp, clean, watery style of Lily of the Valley, adding this kind of fresh spring water sort of vibe going on to it. Little touch of rose that works in there, so it has these nice soft florals, but this very sharp, soapy style of fragrance with those spices that are mixed in there. In the base, you get a little bit of ambroxan comes through, giving this a little bit of additional mineral notes, a little bit of sharpness, a little bit more push, along with some oak moss and some sandalwood, giving this a masculine style of woody base to it. But through and through, this is a very floral, sharp, soapy style of fragrance. Very clean, very watery style of fragrance, and I absolutely love this one. Performance on this about 5-6 hours of longevity, and it does push off fairly good for an hour and a half before it does settle back in. This is just going to make you feel so fresh. If you're into that kind of floral, soapy, touch of wood style of fragrance, this is something you definitely want to check out, and bang for your buck. Absolutely a beautiful fragrance. That's Maison Alhambra's Kismet, Moscow. All right, next up, going to the house of Armaf with Armaf's Club de Nuit Sillage. I can scoop this one up for $32, $34 at discounters, and this one probably needs no introduction. This has been around for a little while and is a great clone of Creed's Silver Mountain Water. Very bright, ozonic style of citrus opening, has this really interesting sharpness to it as well. So it opens up with this ginger, lime, lemon, bergamot, mixed with some black currants and some violet leaf. So it's a very sharp, citrusy style of opening with a little bit of fruit sweetness that works its way through, a little bit of green, and in the mid you get some nice florals that work its way through, kind of balancing off the sharpness of that citrus. Has almost like a metallic sort of ting texture to it as well. Very, very sharp with those citruses. Like I said, a very ozonic style of opening to this one. As you work to the dry down, you get a little bit more of the woods that start to work its way through, and the florals kind of round the edges out a little bit. So the sharpness does dial down a little bit, but this is still a very bold, fresh, clean, invigorating style of fragrance that is absolutely perfect for the summertime. The heat in the summer just activates this one like crazy and it just pushes off like mad. I absolutely love wearing this one in the high heat. Performance on this is fantastic. Longevity, I get 8+ hours longevity off my skin, and this does blast off pretty hard for the first 2-3 hours. And like I said, in the summer heat, this is gonna really push. So you gotta be a little bit careful on the sprays with one because it has that sharp ozonic nature to it. It might get a little too much if you just really go buck wild with the sprays, so just be a little bit careful. But the scent profile on this, absolutely a beautiful citrus, floral, ozonic, woody style of fragrance, and I absolutely adore this one. Absolutely worth checking out. That's Armaf's Club de Nuit Sillage. All right, moving over to the House of Halaj. We've got Halaj Shiaka Blue. I can pick this bad boy up for $40 at Aroma Concepts, and this is a new addition to my collection. I've worn this a handful of times over the last few weeks, and I absolutely love this one. Really nice twist on a blue style of fragrance. Opens with some nice citrus aromatic style of notes, your typical kind of blue sort of vibe going on to it, but it has this additional kind of bubblegummy style of sweetness that just kind of gives it a little bit more of a fun, playful, flirty sort of vibe for a blue fragrance. Still has that masculine vibe going on to it, still has that clean shower jelly sort of appeal to it, but with that additional bubblegummy sweetness, just adds that little extra pop of summertime fun that I absolutely love. An Invictus Bleu de Chanel style of twist of a fragrance, and I just think it's just a great time to wear this one. And the performance on this is pretty good. I get about 6-7 hours of longevity, and it does push off pretty good for the first hour and a half, 2 hours. If you're looking for something that's a bit of a blue fragrance in that Bleu de Chanel territory, but has that kind of Invictus-y bubblegum sweetness, that little bit of a playful, flirty side, this might be something you want to check out. That's Halaj Shiaka Blue. Heading back to the House of Lattafa, we got Lattafa Pride's Sarwa. You can scoop this sucker up for $27 at discounters, and this is such a beautiful, fresh, clean, aromatic style of fragrance. Opens with a nice bergamot and mint combo, so it has that tart, citrusy bergamot with this icy, cool, fresh, spicy style of mint, and a beautiful, clean, aromatic style of lavender that's in the mid. The lavender and the mint really fuse together quite well, giving it this icy, cool, breezy style of cleanness that works its way through. Some clary sage in there, adds a little touch of green. It also gives a little bit of sweetness that comes through. And in the base, you get some cedarwood, this vetiver that comes through, almost a little bit grassy, a little bit soapy, and some musk as well. Just giving this a masculine base for that clean, fresh, aromatic, fresh, spicy mint profile just to sit on top of that. Beautiful, clean, fresh fragrance. Performance on this, pretty good. I get about 6-7 hours of longevity, and it does push off pretty good for the first hour and a half before it does settle back in. Through and through, if you were looking for that fresh, clean laundry, that icy, cool, breezy style of fresh fragrance, this is something you definitely want to check out. That's Lattafa Pride's Sarwa. All right, and last, certainly not least, going to the House of Haramain, Haramain's Etoile's Silver. I can scoop up this beauty for $26 at various discounters, and this is another twist, clone, dupe inspired by of Creed's Green Irish Tweed, and this is a beautiful interpretation of that fragrance. Opens with that fresh, clean laundry sort of vibe going on to it. A little bit of bergamot working its way through, a little bit of geranium, nice soapy clean lavender, but it has this additional green apple note in there, giving it a little touch of sweetness, a little bit of that tart green apple vibe, and these aquatic notes that work through. So it has like almost a little bit of a watery, semi-salty sort of vibe working its way through, mixing with those soapy aromatics, just giving this a very interesting twist on that Green Irish Tweed style of DNA. A little less grassy than your typical Green Irish Tweed clones or even the original, but it does have that additional sweetness, that additional kind of watery aquatics, just adds a little bit of character to it. But through and through, it is this, you can't miss this one in terms of being a Green Irish Tweed clone. In the base, as this dries down, you get a little bit more of a floral sweetness that works its way through it as that green apple drops back. And a little bit of nutmeg comes through, giving this little punch of spice, a little bit of warm spiciness to it, just adding a little bit more depth and character to it. But through and through, this is just a beautiful, fresh, clean, masculine style of fresh laundry style of fragrance. And it's absolutely beautiful. Performance on this is pretty good. I got about 6 to 8 hours of longevity, and it does push off pretty good for the first hour and a half to 2 hours before it does settle back in. Through and through, if you're looking for that green Irish tweed style of DNA, this one is going to get you there. Definitely worth checking out. That's Haramain's Atoll's Silver. All right, so there you have it. That's 7 fresh Middle Eastern fragrances that I think you should know about, but I want to hear from you guys. What are some of your favorite fresh, summery style of fragrances from Middle Eastern houses that we should all know about? Comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting your different hidden gems, scent profiles, your different recommendations. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.